Hey guys, Books Nelson here, back with another video, and today we'll be getting into the value of these promo packs that were just released. So for the next 24 hours, and for some of these deals 4 days, you can get a bunch of these promo packs. And this is definitely a special deal for 4th of July. We're going to get into whether or not it is worth your currency. Now, before we do this and get into this content, this is not an endorsement nor condemnation of buying packs. That's a different conversation. We're just talking about what is the value of what 2K is offering. Whether or not you invest into this is entirely up to you. All right, so getting right into it. Before we talk about anything, and full disclosure, I'm re-recording this video because I forgot to talk about this one fact. We have to look at these pack odds, right? So in this first one, you have a 15% chance at a GOAT player and a 100% chance at a 100 overall plus. That does not mean this is the best deal, right? So same thing here. 35% chance at a 100 overall plus. And then we'll get into the rest of these as we go. Actually, I do want to talk about this value because this is a very important pack right here. This is 2% odds at a 100 overall or better. So with that having been said, let's look at what's in these packs. So this deal is for the next 23 hours, right? So basically, what's in here? We're going to run through this as quickly as we can, but we just want to talk about whether or not this value is good. This is 200,000 VC, right? This is a 20 bucks, I believe, which is a lot of times you get nothing out of a 20 bucks. So from that perspective, you know, user results may vary, but also dark matters are about 150K in the market right now. So this is 50K more than you would normally pay for a dark matter or better. Now, when we look at these 100 overalls, I've said for a while, these aren't mostly very good cards. A lot of this is placebo, seeing that 100 overall glow. These are really just dark matters with new artwork on them. That haven't been said. Some of them are very good. Taco, obviously worth it. Ja, obviously not a terrible card, but he's just undersized. James Worthy just doesn't have the jumper to be competitive at his position. Not a terrible card, but definitely not worth 200K. Same thing for Paolo, same thing for Dirk. Same thing for Luka. Carmelo, so the problem with Carmelo is that his position is so deep, right? With Ricky Davis for free, Klay Thompson for free, Dr. J. I've seen Dr. J. I actually have, in my own packs as well. I saw a video where Dr. J was available in Season Pass. I don't know if it's every single one. I don't know if those option packs are the same cards every time. But if they are, then Dr. J is also in the Season Pass and the option packs. And I would still use Dr. J over Carmelo. Brandon Roy is a good card. I don't think he's a 200K good card, but he's a good card. Wilt is a 200K good card. LaMelo, I think last gen, perhaps, LaMelo is worth 200K, maybe. I mean, that's still pricey. I don't know. I don't know, because most people pull trying to get a 100 overall. I think last gen, because his jumper is like elite last gen, he might be. Kareem, absolutely not, because as great of a card as this is, and this is a phenomenal card. Kareem is, one of those cards that is looking to be, all first team NBA 2K24, right? In my team. But his card is free in the season pass. So, we're not going to do that. Giannis, it depends on whether or not you got the collector level. This is an objectively great card, but I think we're about to get to the point where all of the small forwards will have better jumpers, right? Like way better jumpers. I think even a Tyrese Thomas is like super elite. So is this a 200K at this point in the year, this reasonably old Giannis card? I don't think so. In fact, those Giannis GOAT cards, I wouldn't be surprised if they're on the way as well. They've been pretty quiet on Giannis for a little while. Magic, I don't think this card's good, and he's free. KG doesn't have the jumper. LeBron's pretty good, but look, we're going to go over this. This is a very, very obtainable card. In other ways. Yao Ming would be a massive W. KD, if your name's not Carlo, he'd be a L. Tim Duncan, big L, because he's grindable, right? So why spend 200K on something you can get for free? Larry's okay. James Harden, free, doesn't play. Shaq, he's on the rewards. Clay, fantastic, but he's also free on the season pass. Michael Jordan doesn't play because of his jumper. David Robinson is absolutely fantastic. Scottie Pippen, I don't think he's up far enough above his dark matter, and I know his free dark matter doesn't play 2-guard. I just don't think it matters that much. I think you can play somebody at the 2-guard, and Scotty's fine at whatever position. But no, I don't think he's up there. Victor, any Wemby card's a W. I actually think very, very highly of Devin Booker. LeBron, I don't love this because he's small forward, power forward. So that scares me off of this LeBron quite a bit. I would much rather he be 1, 2, or 3, not 3 and 4. Jimmy, pretty good. I don't think he gives you enough of an advantage over the small cards, and he doesn't give you enough protection versus Kareem. I think he's a good card, but I don't think he's like super outstanding. Solid power forward that you can replace with a bajillion cards in here, including the Dirks that are all in here that are very that are very likely to pop out of some of the rest of these packs. I would say still a W on Kristaps, 100 overall. Yeah, that's worth it. Vince, absolutely not. I think even if you pull this card, he doesn't play over many dark matters below him. In fact, I think he doesn't even play over a certain Opal below him named Ron Artest, who's for free and unlimited. You guys can fight me over that one. I don't care what the overall says. Ron Artest is still a better card than Vince Carter. T-Mac plays. Absolutely, I think T-Mac's fantastic. But again, is he far enough over a Ricky Davis or a Clay that you would rather spend 200K on him than put that 200K somewhere else and use those available cards? I don't think so. I don't even think he's better than those cards. I think it's more preference. So now, and then we get to the GOAT cards, right? Out of the GOAT cards, Michael Jordan's the troll. The rest of them range from playable to fantastic. Luke is fantastic. Dirk is good. Tracy's outstanding. LeBron's outstanding. Victor Wembanyama's possibly still the best card in the game. Maybe Kareem, but you can play them both, right? If you get the point guard Kareem, you can play both cards. Actually, even if you don't get it, you can play these guys at the 4 and the 5. So Wemby's an automatic W. Michael, the jump shot upgrades do not justify his existence. And Shaq, I think Shaq is just a solid center. He's going to be great for you defensively. He has very makeable shot. His shot was adjusted, so he's a bit better. I think he's pretty good. And same thing for Larry. He's all right. So I think all of the GOAT cards, again, range from playable to excellent. And that's what you're looking at in this pack. So you're guaranteed 100 overall, but a lot of these 100 overalls, in my opinion, either don't play, or even if they did play, their competition, like this one, Carmelo Anthony. Ricky Davis is only 40 tokens. Ron Artest is available in unlimited. Dr. J's on the season pass. Like, I'm not, Clay's on the season pass. So is Carmelo a good card? I do think Carmelo's a good card. I don't like his size up at all. And he doesn't have an elite jump shot base. So for that reason, and I think that's a similar story with a lot of these cards. So I do not think that this particular pack is worth it. I think this pack is even less worth it. And we're going to scroll down and see why. Because you have all these dark matters. And I'm just going to scroll through them. And you guys can see a lot of these dark matters are either free or outdated. Some of them are good, but I don't think any of these dark matters, except for maybe Wemby, if he's on here, none of these dark matters are worth 200K. You could argue Kristaps is, he's getting a little outdated now too, right? This dark matter Kristaps. So I think these dark matter cards make this a really, really tough scene for these. Even though some of these cards are good, 200K is just too steep of a price. This promo pack, absolutely terrible. If we scroll down, we're going to see the accursed Galaxy Opals. Spoiler alert, and I'm not going to scroll through all of these, but there are only 2 Galaxy Opals that I think can even really play right now, and that's Ron Artest and Tyson Chandler. The rest of these Opals, there's definitely a very attainable card that I would put over them at their position. So that brings us to this series. So this is an interesting thing because this is by position 75K overall. Now, because this is a strange decision by 2K because this is the GOAT cards are only 2% odds, right? And not great odds. The 100 overalls are only 2% odds. Now that actually might be working in your favor because I think you're actually trying to avoid most of these. But this is where we get interesting, right? Are these dark matters worth 75K? That's the question you're asking yourself. Are these dark matters worth 75K? Now, Larry's clearly not. He's not a troll card. I do think he can play, particularly because if you're going up against that Kareem or any other tall guard, Larry has a player model where I think Larry's going to compete just fine. And I do think Larry is a good card. He just has one flaw, and that's that his jumper is baited from a standstill. But off the move, his jumper's just fine, and his step backs are pretty good. Shaq, he's just anti-Kareem, right? If you didn't get the pro pass and you're, spending VC on this for some reason, I think the pro pass is better value because Kareem's that much better than Shaq. But if you were, or maybe you already got it and you want to run two big point guards, I do think big point guard Shaq is still a viable gimmick, and against a lot of matchups will give you an advantage. That having been said, I do think you suffer offensively. Troll card. This is what we're talking about right here. Now we're getting into it. And so this is what I was talking about with the LeBron James thing, right? Because LeBron is pretty good at his position. He's pretty good. Victor obviously is a W. You know, this is a massive W for this card. Dirk is I think same thing as before. The difference is with him over Shaq, say at the tall point guard, is Dirk is more like a Larry because these Dirks move really, really well. You know, so his jump shot is not ideal for sure, but I do think the moving shot, being that tall, you can get it off, and I think you can go to the basket great. I just don't think he'll move as well as Shaq defensively. T-Mac is absolutely fantastic. So if I look at all of these cards right here, how many of them are worth 75K? I'd say probably half. I would buy T-Mac for 75K for sure. And I will, well, the only thing about the T-Mac is I would definitely rather play T-Mac at the 2 because there are a lot of point guards that I like, especially if you're running that Kareem. So maybe this is like a little iffy with T-Mac. And that's the other thing is like, how good is their secondary position? With Victor, Victor's excellent at both positions, right? So Victor's going to be a big fat W. Michael's a L. Shaq. So this is a little dicey, right? When we look at those dark matters. Because again, 2% odds on the above cards. We'll look at these two guards real quick. So same story with Larry. Same story with Shaq. Same story with Michael. Same story with Victor. Now LeBron is interesting because you're really sacrificing and saying, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think this is actually worse. I think the one you would be going for would be that I think you would just spam the point guard one out of all of these. I think you just spam the PG one because a lot of these cards you don't want at the 3, right? So that's the thing. Is like, do I really want to play any of you guys at the 3? The only guy who can play at the 3 that I would do is Wemby because Wemby is just such a good card. And I'm only looking at the dark matters because that's 2% odds, right? For everything above here. And obviously most of these GOAT cards are good. You're trying to avoid Michael. And most of these half of the 100 overalls are good, right? So you get Tracy, LeBron, Wemby, you're in good shape. If you get Michael, Shaq, Larry, Dirk, it's pretty much an L, although I do think this Dirk is actually pretty solid. So when you look here at this position, I would not touch the power forward packs and I would not touch the center packs. So if you were spending one of these 75K packs, I would highly recommend you just either spend on the point guard or spend on the shooting guard. I'd absolutely stay away from these 3 because I think there's more troll cards in these 3. So that's my general assessment of this group of cards. I mean, if you just love that 100 overall glow and you just want to see it, you just want to have one on your team besides one of the free ones that's available, then by all means do this one. But I do not recommend it because so many of these cards either don't play, or in cases of like Kareem, they're duplicates. In cases of Magic, he's free on the wheel, right? You know, Luka doesn't have his jump shot adjusted. So I would actually stay away from most of these. In fact, I think for me, even if I had $1 million VC, I would probably just open these point guard cards because I would care much more about these GOAT cards and these dark matters because a bunch of these dark matters play. I'd play Tracy, I'd play LeBron, I'd play Wemby, and you know, I'm willing to roll the dice on that if I had a whole bunch of VC. I don't know if I'm touching those guys. I don't think I'm going to touch these. I think I'm just going to go ahead and stack currency because if I look at my team, right? And I actually stopped playing this account for a little while. So I'm about to get GOAT Kareem, who's going to slide in for Shea, which is going to put Shea, actually going to put Lonzo at the 1, at the backup 1. And I can grab Tyrese Thomas if I want an elite 4. And then an elite 3. So then I'm on the hunt for 4s. And when I look at that collection, I don't see a ton of elite 4s. I'm not seeing it there. Like if I go to the power forwards, how many of these guys are actually elite at their position? I already have Dirk. Larry's not playing. Shaq's not playing. Michael's not playing. Wemby plays. LeBron's not playing. Yeah, these fours are all terrible. So, yeah, and obviously you get a GOAT card. That's a W. So, yeah. So, I mean, it's up to you. This is my assessment of the value of these. I think both of these are traps. This is a terrible deal. I think the point guard is a solid roll of the dice. Even if you're only looking at the dark matters and you're saying, I'm not, 2% odds, I'm not going to spend enough VC to get one of the GOAT cards, I still think you might come out a winner on this one. Shooting guards is all right. And after that, these three, I would leave them alone. I would leave these three alone. So that is my assessment of this. Hopefully this helped you guys out. Let me know what you think of the value of these packs. If you guys are spending on them, if you're not, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much for your support, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.